I'm excited to be back in the studio. Sorry I missed you guys for the Bet Gala on Monday. Still trying to figure out what the Bet Gala was. It's just kind of one of those mysteries. I don't think we're ever going to know what happened at the Bet Gala. We just watched sports and gambled. So, pretty big day for us.
Did you meet Sydney Thomas?
I did not meet Cindy. No, I did not. Is it Sydney or Cindy?
Sydney.
Sydney Thomas. I did not meet her. I left before she arrived. She was fashionably late. Big T and I actually had this debate earlier, or we scratched the surface of it. We posed the question because Larry Fitzgerald was there, and then Sydney Thomas showed up. Who is more famous, Sydney Thomas or Larry Fitzgerald? I think age matters a lot in this conversation. I think if you're above 30 years old, you're more likely to know Larry Fitzgerald. If you're below 30, it's Sydney Thomas. Do you know who Sydney Thomas is, Arian?
I was just Googling her.
So,
no.
so she's famous because she stood behind Jake Paul one time, right?
She was famous before that.
Was she?
Yeah.
What
That's
do you
how
mean
she got that.
stand behind? What does that mean, stand behind?
She was one of the ring girls at the Jake Paul, who did he fight?
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. But she was
That tracks.
she was notable before that, which is how she got that.
What was she notable for?
Being Sydney Thomas.
What did she do?
You could ask that of pretty much anyone who has her occupation.
Can you guys?
She posts on Instagram.
Okay, so she's a model.
I think that's what you would call it. Sure.
She was a model on Instagram, but she was already like big and successful before that.
Yeah, so actually, Instagram followers, they're very close. Sydney Thomas has 886,000. Larry Fitzgerald has 711,000.
Okay, so then I would assume that would mean that Larry Fitzgerald was more likely to be more famous.
Why?
Because that's her. That's like
That's her bag.
her home court. Yeah.
Okay. I think it depends what you mean when you say famous. I think if each of them were walking down the street in New York, I think more people would recognize Sydney Thomas. But I think name recognition, it's Larry Fitzgerald by a mile.
More people would recognize her, or more people in a certain demo.
I mean, I think the demo is people walking down the street in New York.
There's a lot of old people in New York.
Sure. There's a lot of young people.
I still think a lot of young people would recognize Larry Fitzgerald. The hair.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Again, name, it's him by a mile.
Yeah. I don't think I would recognize her if we were walking down the street.
Well, it's because you left before she got to the Beck Gala.
That's true. I guess it also depends on what the weather is, what they're wearing. I feel like there's certain aspects of each one of them that is more recognizable. Is that fair to say?
Does she do anything, or that's what she does? She's on Instagram.
That's what she does.
So like if Larry was wearing like a hat and he had his hair piled up underneath the hat, that would make me less likely to recognize him, I think. But I still think I would.
He's tall.
Likewise, if Sydney was walking down the street wearing a trench coat, I might not be as liable to recognize her.
Sure.
Does that make sense? But yeah, who's more famous? I don't know. These questions all make me feel old. It was like the John Summit Ludacris debate.
I don't think we did that on the show.
I just had the debate offline against Max down at the Super Bowl. And I said, I took the position that was ludicrous.
It is ludicrous, but it's closer than you would imagine.
John Summit is more popular right now than
Yes.
Ludacris is. John Summit he's headlining festivals on his own, like music festivals with bands and shit. And as a DJ, they're like, yeah, he's a headliner. So he's obviously one of the hottest names in music. But if you zoom out, if your attention span can grow for longer than 2 weeks, all you Zoomers out there, then I think it's a no-brainer that it's Luda.
Here's a good barometer for how famous Ludacris is. What percentage of Americans do you think know that Ludacris is a real word apart from that guy's stage name?
Ooh.
I think it's pretty low.
Nah.
You don't think that the kids know the word ludicrous?
No.
Like that's ludicrous?
No.
It's a big
definitely
teacher
know.
word. It's a massive teacher word.
I think
Your
it's...
behavior today was ludicrous.
I think 40% of Americans don't know that's a real word.
I don't think that's right, Big T.
Might be closer to 50.
Maybe. But yeah, I think Luda, just respect Luda. I just like to remind people to respect Luda every now and again.
But that's a testament to how famous he is because he has taken over the word.
Yeah, he has. And his name's Chris. Did you know that? That's why he's Luda Chris.
I did not know that.
Fun fact. Chris Bridges, I believe. So yeah,
There's another one of those. What do you think of when you hear the word Shaq?
Oh, I think of the person. I think of printers.
That's crazy. He's become more famous than the tiny home.
That is kind of crazy, yeah, that you're more famous than a word.
Are there any others?
Arian.
Yeah,
No,
although
they're making a strong
They
comeback.
are, yeah.
right now.
It's been a big week.
Yeah,
Mid 2010s though, you may have had a point.
for sure.
Yeah.